And good morning, friends. Welcome to Here I Stand. All eyes on Nashville. All eyes on Nashville. I'm Pastor Calvin Lindstrom, joined by Pastor James Pittman. James pastors New Hope Community Church in Palatine, Illinois, and that is an SBC congregation. Southern Baptist Convention. I pastor Church of Christian Liberty. We are an independent Reformed congregation, but we are very concerned with what is taking place in the SBC. Let me just share some stats as we get started on this. Why is the SBC an important denomination? Well, it has 47,592 congregations. That's one reason. A lot of big denominations don't even have 47,000 people, but that's 47,000 congregations. The membership is listed at a little over 14 million. What concerns me there is the weekly attendance, that basically a third of members, I guess they only show up once every 3 weeks. I'm not sure exactly how that all lines up. It looks like you got members that don't necessarily show up very often. Anyway, I don't think that's true of James's congregation, and as I say, I don't. But yeah, when you have 14 million members, or even if you had 4 million members, that is a significant influence. Yes. Even if you're not SBC, it's something to consider. And the convention, the gathering of messengers who are connected with the SBC is expected to be maybe even a record number, a double what it normally is or has been. Obviously, there was no big gathering last year because of COVID, but this year in Nashville, there is expected to be, James said, 16,000.
I believe that the number that I heard was 16,000 messengers confirmed, and I believe the average each year was around 8,000.
Okay, so
that seems to be double of what the average attendance is, if my numbers are right. Yes.
And
but I know
James,
it was 16,000.
What would you? You didn't go 2 years ago, correct? Did you?
I've never gone ever.
Okay, so you've never gone, but this year you're going, and you're bringing.
We will be there.
How large is your delegation?
Well, because this is the first time we're going, I know the minimum church gets 2 messengers, but it's going to be about 6 or 7 of us.
Oh, wow.
But we get 2. It seems like I could have put more, but just to be on the safe side, I'm only taking 2. Because I don't want to be accused of stacking the deck. Because I'm not sure how it goes. I'll make sure what the rules are next time, and I'll probably take more than 2. So
now, if I check some mass stats there, if you have 47,592 churches, that could be 95,000 messengers.
Minimum. But no, it depends. Exactly. The formula that they use, though, is that it depends on your average attendance plus how much you give to the cooperating program. You can have up as many as 12 from a single church.
Wow. So, that's maybe only 10% that are showing up of the maximum.
No, it's less than that.
Maybe.
No, because the maximum was more than 97,000. Because I would say, again, I don't know what the percentages are, but I would say a fair number of churches can bring way more than 2.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just throw out there 10% at a max.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's probably less than that.
That's interesting. So, over 90% of churches, they are part of the convention, but they don't want to get into the politics of the convention. Is that my understanding?
Or either they don't want to or they weren't able to, because there is a cost. If you have a smaller congregation who's barely making the bills, and you are up in Washington or California or Wyoming, it costs money to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
For a few days, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And so maybe they just don't have it. And so I think some
That's true.
larger
Yeah.
churches,
Yeah.
so some larger churches, I think we're helping some of the smaller churches uh, in getting there and
Okay.
alleviating some of the financial burden. So
So you got to have a voter ID to cast a ballot in Nashville,
you gotta
James.
you gotta register. And so we registered our church. Again, our church has been a part of the SBC since 1956.
Oh wow.
Moved to Palatine since 1959.
Okay.
We've planted several churches and we've been involved for many, many years. I myself has not. Well, I've only been here for the last 7 years.
Right.
But I myself have never gone. But the church, the official church of New Hope, it's New Hope Community Church, but the official name is First Baptist Church of Palatine, DBA New Hope Community Church. So First Baptist Church has been part of the convention since 1956, long before I was a twinkle in my father's eye. So history has been part of the Southern Baptist Convention for many, many years. And as you know, at one point we were going to pull out until I ran across someone who said, don't do that, because I thought, again, I was never involved in SBC politics. But then when we started our YouTube outreach channel, which we're on right now for such a time as this, I was forced to start looking at some issues beyond the walls of my church.
Right.
And I ran across a guy by the name of J.D. Greer, and I was hearing what he was saying. And to my horror, I saw his title, President of the Southern Baptist Convention. And I said, if this is what the Southern Baptist Convention has come to, I'm out of here. But I was contacted by some other people, and the convention says, no, he does not represent a majority of Southern Baptists. Don't leave, stay and fight. Let's not turn over the convention to the liberals and doom church plants and universities and publishing arms to the liberals. So that made sense to me. Not only that, where else was I going to go? I had no other place to go. So we stayed in. We're going to go down to Nashville next week and hopefully bring the Southern Baptist Convention back to what it was originally intended to be, and that is a convention based on and standing on the principles of the Word of God. I want to show a video, Calvin.
Yeah, please do.
It is I think it was done by this Conservative Baptist Network, and it sums up what we're trying to do here, the conservatives at the convention. Here it is.
It's an interesting thing about drifting. It's hardly noticeable. You aren't even aware of it most of the time. And yet, anything can drift when you're not paying attention to it. And it's not that you don't care. It's just that you might have gotten sidetracked with other plans, priorities. Perhaps you took your eyes off of what was really important. And after time, something drifts along, and finally you wake up to the reality that you aren't where you thought you were, nor are you headed in the direction you needed to be going. The Southern Baptist Convention is drifting. It's time we wake up and realize that we are not where we need to be, nor are we headed in the right direction. I heard years ago someone say that everything rises and falls on leadership. And some of the leaders in our Southern Baptist family have become enamored with cultural ideologies and cultural trends that are unbiblical, and they're wreaking havoc on our Southern Baptist family. We are indeed divided and drifting. You know, when the current Southern Baptist Convention president adopts the language and perspective of the unbiblical ideology of critical race theory and admonishes Southern Baptists to lay down our white privilege, you know we are drifting. When the president of Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary tells Southern Baptists that for us to have racial reconciliation, we don't need to trust the sufficiency of Scripture, but rather white evangelicals need to surrender power, which is something that is not indigenous to our nature. you know we are drifting. When the president of the Sin Network, which is the church planting arm of the North American Mission Board, says the gospel is not good news without spiritual redemption and restoration, but the gospel is also not good news without emotional, economic, and social restoration as well, you know we are drifting. This kind of leadership is not strengthening our Southern Baptist family. In fact, it's causing division, and it's causing us to undermine even biblical convictions that we've had for decades. When you look at all the other issues like the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission and the negative influence it's had on Southern Baptist life for years now, biblical gender roles, all these things are taking us down a path that threatens the future impact and growth and strength of our Southern Baptist denomination. On June 15th, Southern Baptists can stop the drift. And we stop the drift when every pastor, every church sends every messenger possible to the city of Nashville, and we vote for new leadership. Well, who do we vote for? We need to vote for the next president of the Southern Baptist Convention, Pastor Mike Stone. And then we need to vote for Dr. Lee Brand to serve as the next first vice president. And then finally, we need to vote for Pastor Javier Chavez to serve as a second vice president of the Southern Baptist Convention. This is a critical moment for Southern Baptists. We must stop the drift. It's going to take courage. It's going to take you and me and our churches being fearless. But I am tremendously encouraged by seeing thousands of pastors and churches connecting with the Conservative Baptist Network literally around the world, across America, who are willing to take a stand. Let's do this together. I'll see you in Nashville as we take a stand to stop the drift.
Okay, James, who was that?
I believe, I'm not absolutely sure. I know he's connected with the, represents the Conservative Baptist Network. I believe that's the president of the Conservative Baptist Network.
So Al Mohler is another candidate, correct?
Yes, he is. He's not bagged by my group. And I would say the founders, Calvin, I look like I was lagging that a little bit. The founders, which is Tom Asco's group, and the Conservative Baptist Network, which is that group, they're backing Mike Stone. They're not backing Al Mohler.
Okay.
Al Mohler has a track record. Al Mohler has a track record at Southern Baptist Seminary, not Southeastern, but Southern Baptist Seminary. And his record is pro critical race theory. That's his record. He's pushed it for many, many years now. And now that he wants to be president,
he has tolerated it at least, right?
No, he's pushed it. There are several professors at Southern that has resigned. I think the big scandal they had last year was that because of budgetary concerns, 4 professors were fired, and they all happen to be anti-critical race theory. So he's done more than just tolerate it. I mean, he has promoted it. He has pushed it. He has elevated people who were pro-critical race theory. He's been very involved. And so we're not bagging Al Mohler. We don't trust Al Mohler.
Okay.
We're not. No. Mike Stone is the guy that we're getting by.
Okay. So. And you do you get a sense that there will be more conservatives who show up in Nashville?
I don't have a sense of anything.
Okay.
From what I'm going off of, it looks like we have a good fighting chance. So the way it works is you've got to get a majority of the votes. You've got to get 51% of the ballots in order to be elected president. So after the first round, in which you have 4 major ones, you've got Litton, you've got Mohler, you've got Adams, and you've got Stone. Out of those 4 major candidates that I'm aware of, those are the 4. If neither one of those guys get 51, then you take the top 2 and you have a runoff.
Okay.
I think Adams and Stone will split some of their votes, and if either one goes out, they'll fall into that camp. And I think I think Mohler and Litton will split votes. So we'll see. We'll see where it is. I really don't have. I'm not plugged in enough to know where we stand at this point.
Do they got
But I think
mail-in ballots?
there's no mail-in ballots. There's no drop boxes. We will know the president that day, the 15th. I believe it is at
Any
2:15.
hanging chads?
No hanging chads. Uh, I know there's some talk of having sites, multiple sites, but no, if you don't come to the convention, you cannot vote in person right there on the floor, paper ballots.
Dominion
And
handling the voting?
no Dominion will not be in Nashville County votes. So we may actually get a true vote the June 15th. No shenanigans going on.
Okay, that's
With that, did you see? I thought one of the most hilarious things, just taking a quick side note, one of the most hilarious things I've seen. Tucker Carlson actually had a show, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, in which our Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, went down to Guatemala. Did you see the signs down there? Did you see any
yes.
of them, Calvin?
People were not exactly thrilled with
They were not receptive of her, and one sign
Senora
said,
Kamala.
"Yeah, go home."
Yeah,
But the one that was I found the most striking and the most hilarious was Kamala, Trump won. They had a sign. You didn't see that one? You didn't see that one? Yeah, there was a sign. Tucker had it. They saw it down there. Kamala, Trump won. Trump won. And so, so yeah, even those in Guatemala know that there was some fishy things going on.
Yeah.
But
No.
fortunate for us in Nashville, it doesn't seem as though that will be the case. We will have a legitimate, honest election. Even though there's been some October surprises as of late against Mike Stone. So maybe that's good. Maybe they see Stone as the leader. Maybe they are threatened by Stone. But there was a quote unquote email that got leaked with some accusations at the last minute, not giving Stone enough time to adequately address it. But he did send out an email. I saw on social media, he disavowed all the stuff that was said about him. But you know what? It's really sad that Christians would even devolve into this. It's real simple, Calvin. Calvin, if I send you an email, and it was supposed to be a private email, it should be fairly easy to know who leaked an email between one man and another. Now, maybe I'm ignorant of how emails work, but Calvin, if I know I didn't leak it, and Russell Moore is saying he didn't leak it, I know if I didn't leak it and I sent it to you and you're the only one I sent it to, Calvin, there's a pretty high probability I know who leaked it. Right? I just, you know, first of all, if I sent it to you, who else knows it exists except me and you?
Yeah. Well, here's what you do. You don't, if you want to leak it, you save it on a jump drive. You could mail that to anybody, and that person then somehow puts it up on a file sharing site, Google, Dropbox. Oh, this got leaked.
Yeah.
So
it got leaked. But it had to come originally from one of the two. Now, if you have a group email text for 20, now there's some debate. But my understanding is the email was written from Russell Moore to David Prince, ERLC trustee chairman David Prince.
Okay.
And he withheld it. So it seemed like it was from one man to another. Maybe I'm wrong.
James,
but it seemed like it was from one man to another.
Do you think there is an issue with how the SBC has been handling abuse cases?
I think there's a problem with the SBC handling a lot of cases about a lot of things, including money, including
James, I lost you there for a second somehow. I'm going to stop the broadcast at this point. We'll see if we get a chance to resume.
Yep.
Okay, friends, we are back. We had a little technical issues, so we're back with part two. James, you were I had asked you the question: do you think there's a problem with abuse? How abuse has been handled in the SBC? And you said there's been a problem with a number of things, money. Do you want to continue on that strain?
Transparency. There's a big scandal, quote unquote, in which Adams is leading one of the four major candidates with NAM. And some sort of way NAM is refusing to open the books. Well, if you are a Christian organization and you are beholden and you are accountable to churches, I don't see and I don't understand how you could withhold anything. It seems as though members of the executive committee or the president of the Southern Baptist or the CEO of the executive committee should be able to walk in and see your books. I'm not saying you let any Joe Schmo off the street walk in, but the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, the CEO of the executive committee, and any executive committee should be able to see the books, and that's not how it's being held. My understanding is that NAM is not sharing what's going on with other Southern Baptist high-ranking officials. Not only that, here's my thing: if anything can be proven that there was some sort of sexual abuse or a sexual abuse case, and it was not immediately disclosed and handled in a transparent way, then those who tried to hide it or push it under the rug should be fired immediately. Now, one of the things people don't recognize, Southern Baptist it's a convention, it's not a denomination.
Right.
The Southern Baptist Convention cannot walk into a Southern Baptist church and pull rank. There's nobody from Nashville that can walk into New Hope Community Church in Palatine and dictate anything. We will show them the door.
They could kick you out of the convention.
They could kick me out of the convention, yes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the problem comes. So if there was a church that was handling a sexual abuse case in an ungodly way, and what I mean by ungodly is being totally transparent, working with authorities. If sexual abuse, that's a crime. That's a crime. Working with authorities and working with people involved immediately. If there was anything, listen, and it's not that it happens, it's how you handle it. Correct? Mm-hmm. So let's say there was something, there's people at our church at New Hope. If something of that nature were to happen, God forbid, then I bring in the person who's making the accusations. I bring in the person to whom the accusation was made against with some leaders, and we say, okay, start from the beginning. Start from the beginning right now. And we work through it. Right. Well, Calvin, these games that the world plays, well, we need to have an investigation. Well, investigation, sit down right now. Who's making the claim? What happened? If the abuser is too afraid to come forward, then I'll talk to a mother or father. But I do have to confirm that the person maybe a representative, a family member. Look like I'm freezing up again, Calvin. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you still. Yeah, you were freezing up a little bit, but yeah, we're okay.
Okay. So anyone, a close family member, get together in a room, start from the beginning, and let's go down what is going on. And Calvin, these investigations the last 2 and 3 months, they're shams. They're all shams. They're all shams. It doesn't take too much to figure it out. Mm-hmm. To me, it doesn't take too much. 2 days. 2 days. Get them in a room. Start from the beginning. What happened? When did it happen? Who were witnesses? And go from there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take months and months for an investigation. And I think if a church handles it incorrectly and denominational officials, Southern Baptist Convention officials go to the church and the church is not willing to work with them, get people in the room, start from the beginning. And if they're not willing to do that, kick them out of the convention. It's just that simple. Mm-hmm. It's just that simple. These games that people play now with these leaked emails from these leak emails, apparently quote unquote leak emails from Prince and Moore. Let's get them in a room. I don't need to form a committee to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Get in a room. Start from the beginning. What happened?
Yeah.
Don't take that long. Don't take that
Yeah.
long.
So James, when do you travel down to Nashville?
Yep.
When do you travel down?
Oh, when do I travel down? Well, before that, I have to drop off my youngest to college.
Okay, yeah.
For strength and conditioning over there in Iowa City.
Okay, nice.
That's going to be Saturday morning, and then we're going to leave there Sunday afternoon and drive to Nashville. We'll get there Sunday night, my wife and I, and then we will attend the Founders Convention, which is going to be that Monday,
Okay.
the 14th, and then on the 15th and 16th is the convention. So we'll pull into Nashville Sunday night and go to the Founders Convention all day Monday.
So it's over by the 17th?
16th.
Oh, okay.
16th. So only 2 days, 15th and 16th.
Okay, so next week we can get a good update from you on everything that takes place.
We're gonna do some stuff live there. We'll do some stuff live there Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, good.
Tuesday night we'll be here on such a time as this and give an in-depth reporting.
Okay, good.
Hopefully, it will be some good news Tuesday night. Mike Stone will be elected president of the Southern Baptist Convention, and the drift from biblical Christianity can be thwarted, and we'll come back to biblical Christianity if Mike Stone is in fact elected.
Yeah. Okay. That will be our prayer. So James, we will be in touch and keep us posted. Where can listeners get some of that live content? Just going to the YouTube for such a time.
Right here. It'll be right here. We'll probably give a notice in the morning once we see where the hotel is, where the conference will be, what time we can get back to the hotel room and get secure hotel room. We'll probably put out a notification Monday afternoon and probably do a wrap up Monday night live, and people can ask questions on streaming. And then Tuesday night we'll do the same thing. At the end of the convention, after dinner, we'll come home and shoot maybe a half an hour, giving an update, what to expect. Again, even if you're not Southern Baptist, it's the largest Protestant denomination,
right?
Trying our darndest to cling to biblical authority.
Yeah, exactly.
And to reject the critical race theory, heresy, and try our best to at least be some sort of light. Also, Calvin, I forgot to tell you that what I'm hearing is there's an awful lot of media that will be there, an awful lot. And so what we do on Tuesday, particularly with the battle that we have in the culture, what we do on Tuesday, it will be covered nationally, because I think the pagans want to see what the Christians are doing.
Yes, exactly.
So we'll see.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Thank you, James. We'll see you next week, listeners, with a update here. Otherwise, be in prayer for James and his congregation as they
yes, please do.
Seek to stand for truth.
Please do.
Okay, brother.
All right, Calvin. Thanks a lot.
Sign off here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.